Hi, welcome to another episode of SIAM Speaks. Today we have a very esteemed guest, Mr. François Roudier, who is the Secretary General of International Organization for Motor Vehicles Manufacturers, also known as OICA. So, François, a very warm welcome and thank you for taking out time. So, you have been in India many times and you have seen the electrification journey in India kick off and now it is taking off. So, my first question to you is that India is now among the fastest growing automotive markets globally. And with EV sales now crossing 2 million mark in the recently concluded calendar year, and there's a widespread adoption across all vehicle segments. Now, in your view, what are the key enablers across policy, charging infrastructure, and vehicle technology that could significantly accelerate this adoption of electric mobility so that the government and the industry together can achieve the targets that we have set forth for the country?
Well, it's an excellent question because I think that you are showing the three main facts that are very important in our world: the government, the industry, and the consumer, the drivers.
Right.
And for the electrification, it's really crucial. It's a key point. You have to have the three online and not a sneak problem in between. That means that the industry shall be able to give top vehicles at a good cost, which means that if you have only vehicles for the rich people, you will limit the number of vehicles, and
Absolutely.
limiting the number of vehicles is not creating an industry, a luxury industry maybe, but not an automotive industry. So that means that you have to have what we say in Europe, in UK, or in the US for the middle class cars around 1.8 million rupees. That
Mhm.
are the average price in a lot of places around the world. It's easy. Look at the cars that are now in India. That means that at one point you have the Suzuki taxis
Right.
fully electric. So suddenly with that you have the capacity of bringing a lot of car, reducing costs, having scale killing cost for the cars. The second part is the government. Government is very important in the way it is pushing policy. What was a problem in many European countries we see right now is that governments were changing policy.
Hmm.
No, you have to be consistent and you have to have a policy for whatever subsidizing or helping or developing charging stations, but you have to have this policy fully maintained. It's always a problem with some governments to say, oh, we can do better. But if you change, you have to think about the end of the chain of automotive, which means the sellers and the buyers. If you sell a car, you don't know what it would be the residual value of the car for the customers won't buy it. And that's important is that the main point is to seduce the customers. The customers are the key point. If you have customers that are unable to go at work without having to recharge 3 times, not able to drive all the family, or having cars that are expensive but less good than their ICE cars before, it's a problem. So you have to seduce customers and bringing them not only electrification in the car, but a full vision of the future, which means you have to have a car that has IT as best as possible, screens, ADAS that are much more than ADAS, really big systems. And so that means that you have to move your customers to another dimension. So this is what will be electrification. And I can say that you are lucky in India because on mechanical way of doing cars, you know how to do it. Well done. For the batteries, you are starting. You are not, as we are not around the world, at the level of the Chinese. The Chinese are 10 years ahead of almost all people, except some Koreans or Japanese. But you are above all in IT, in computers, and this is mandatory. The way to regulate the electrical power will go through IT. And so that's where I think India has a really big asset. Another asset is you know how to have cost controlled manufacturing and that's very important.
Fantastic. Thank you. I think those were some very good points based around providing the right product at the right cost, policy consistency, and leveraging India's strengths. Similar to what you said, my next question follows on the same line. Indian customer is extremely value conscious. They are willing to pay, but they want the best value out of the money they are spending. Now, when it comes to electrification, there are some other challenges to it. The awareness is less, plus the ecosystem, particularly the charging ecosystem, it is developing rapidly, but right now still it is nascent. So, in such a complex scenario, what best practices can be deployed from global OICA members, and how can OICA members collaborate together? And how can India particularly advantage from that?
Well, the first good thing within OICA is when you're a country, you can see what were the bad solutions of other countries. And I think that in India, you have to be careful not to set up a target that is too high to achieve. It can be an objective, why not? But not say at 10, at this point, we will stop selling IC engines, because you never know what happens. You never know what happens with the customers. Charging stations can be expensive. Maybe you need to have a net to bring the electricity that is more expensive than what you think, even if the charging station is wonderful. Uh, you can have a little drop in the economy, what's happening in Europe, which means consumers have less money. So you have to be flexible. You have to be flexible, and you have to consider this charging station problem as a very, very important one. And this is where the government is quite important. And when I say in India, the national government and the state government,
Government.
that's mandatory. It means that as a United Nation, a consumer from the north of India shall have the same visibility on charging station as down south in a farmer land. And that's important, because that means that if you don't do this, you will kill the use of motor vehicles. You have a motor vehicles because it's able to drive everywhere, trucks or cars. And I always say that the roads with the motor vehicles, the vehicles are the blood within the vein, and it is constructing, is shaping a nation. If you have a hacked system where you can charge or you cannot charge, it's a problem. You have to give confidence. And to give confidence, yes, you have to have a policy. And OICA for this can help, because we see what's going well, what's not going well in other nations. For example, something that is a problem is the difference of price for the consumer for the electricity. In a country I know well, for I'm born here in France, you are at a charging station, you don't know the price of the electricity. So that means that it's like if you are at the gas station, you don't know if the liter
Price of the gas.
cost 1 or cost 6.
Right.
And this is a real issue. With electrical system, you're sure you will have a first group of customers charging at home, which means also their home shall be fully equipped.
Right.
And we know that the people having this will be first the rich people, then the rich middle class, and then it will go down.
Right.
And I think that for India, OICA can bring a lot of experiences around the world, and this is what we want to do. What is something I personally want to do is to have a common basis of the policies around the world for electrification. You can have regional databases, but not a global one. And I think it's important when you want to discuss, even for our members, but also for journalists, for politicians, to be able to know what's going on. If I want to do this, has it done before? Is it done before? Can I benefit from the experience? And so this is some big task we will have within OICA in the months to come.
Fantastic. I think we look forward to collaborating with OICA and to learn from your successful initiatives across the world to ensure that India also is on a fast trajectory to achieve the electrification goals. Thank you very much, Francois. It was wonderful talking to you. Thank you.